Set.
Hello, my name is Brennen Military, and I am taking courses on Columbia College, and this is for speech, and this is my persuasive belief speech. This is our last one. Here is my cue cards. I got cue card number 1, number 2, and then I've got my references on the back, but most of them are personal people that I know. My audience members, number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and the camera lady is number 5. Hello. I'm going to talk to you guys about joining the military. Do any of you all know anybody that is in any branch at this point in time?
Yes.
Do any of you guys have any family that have been in the military?
Yes.
Now, was that hard on your family due to the time that they were gone?
Yeah, it was.
See, but they take that time to defend our country. They dedicate, they put their lives on the line, no matter exactly how it is. They pretty much defend, whether it be for the Coast Guard, or the seas for the Navy, or overseas with the Marines, military, and that we have the reserve. I'm going to talk to you guys about all 5 branches of the U.S. military, and I'm going to go into detail just pretty much how deep each military branch is. First, I would like to talk about the Navy. One of the very unique jobs that they have is cook. And you think, well, I'm in the military, I'm supposed to fight. But if you're in a submarine for months at a time, you have to have someone that knows how to cook, especially with the very minimal military supplies that they have for that amount of time. Also on top of that, whether it be on a destroyer ship, which is one of the biggest ships on this earth, or a submarine, you have to have mechanics, because if you're stuck underwater in a submarine and something goes wrong, you're going to want a mechanic. On top of that, there are technicians. Technicians can work, whether it be for radar to know when an enemy is approaching on a boat or a submarine. They also can watch radars to tell you whenever there is a torpedo coming or if there's an enemy ship. Technicians for the Navy, they also sense aircraft. And I'll continue on the aircraft, continue with the Navy here in a second. The Navy have one of the toughest branches of fighting men, and that is the Navy SEALs. Just recently, the Navy SEALs just made an outbreak in this war with Bin Laden, and hooray for them with all their achievements that they did. The Navy SEALs are rated at the hardest training. Along with the Marines, they have the same training, but on top of that, the SEALs have to do naval training, which in turn implies weather, whether it be through storms, tornadoes, hurricanes. I mean, just anything for any given area. There's special forces, and then also in the Navy there are pilots. And I was talking earlier about destroyers being the biggest ships. Those things can be up to 4 blocks big, and that's really big. That's almost a mile long. On top of that, in a destroyer, they could have submarine bays under them. They could have bombers on them, and then also they have pilots and airplanes. What good is a plane without a pilot? Well, if you go into the Navy, there's multiple branches that pretty much connect. Whenever you're a pilot and you're in the Navy, you have the best of both worlds, because you are at sea, you have a mobile base, and then after that, on top of that, with our technology that we have for planes nowadays, you're pretty much untouchable. My second branch, which pretty much conjoins with the Navy, is the Air Force. The Air Force is one of the most difficult ones to do. Sorry. Their school and training is pretty much top-notch. You cannot be barely above par and make it. You have to be extremely smart. You have to be quick reflexes. You have to know how to maneuver in a life-or-death situation. No matter how extreme it gets, the environment around you is not going to change. You're going to have to make the change. Whenever you're in a plane and you're floating at upwards of hundreds of miles per hour, you have to be on your feet. The jobs in the Air Force, again, they can consist of cooks and very similar jobs that people would do here in the United States. But also on top of that, they are the #1 in making bombs. And I'm not talking just missiles, because those are made at home. But I'm talking about like on-ground operation bombs, whether they get the supplies and they make them there, or if they get the supplies, put them on the planes, and then after they leave with them. I live in Missouri, and we have Whiteman, which is just a hop, skip, and a jump away, and they have the B-2s here, which are one of the most deadly planes just on the market in the world. They're undetectable. They can destroy towns before you even hear them. And also in the Air Force, there are mechanics, and that sounds pretty much exactly like the bomb makers, but it is different because you have to know how to work on a plane. The plane isn't like an automobile. It works on a turbine, and that is a very, very complex situation on how the motor works. It takes in the air, but it also forces the air. The fuel in just it in general, it doesn't necessarily work on the turbine, but it works on the blasters, and that's a whole other topic. And then after that, in the Air Force, which is one of the toughest branches to be in, is a pilot. Most people that join in the Air Force, there's 6% of people that actually become pilots. That's just with the training. Some people can go in and be a great pilot, but they'll go in and make bombs, or they'll drive semis to do the bombs, get them from place to place. But pilot is the hardest and most technical branch to get in. Marines. Everybody knows Simplify, Special Forces, Marines. Everybody knows them as pretty much just the toughest things around, and they have that rep. They have one of the most mind-boggling, just pretty much, not necessarily brainwashing, but mind-breaking training. They tell you that you fear nothing. You are what the enemy fears. With their jobs and their technical training is just so far advanced for nowadays. It's every year it seems to double in its technology, double in its weaponry. Between the TAR-21, which is the gun that they use, the M16 and the M4, they're all deadly one-shot, one-kill weapons. In the Marine, the only thing you really have in a Marine is either you have an operator, which runs operative machinery on ground, or you have a footman, which is equipped with a rifle. On top of that, you have marksmen, which are Marines for the recon force, which is special forces. You might hear Marines wherever you're from say Simplify, but then on top of that, there's a recon force. Recon force is the hardest special ops to get into. They're the marksmen. They're the snipers. They're the people that protect the president at home. They're the people that make the assassinations overseas. They are the ones that pretty much protect an area from 2 miles away. Another branch I want to get into, and I really can't go into great detail just because it's so big, is the Army. The Army is pretty much quantity instead of quality. They have a lot of people, and it's not saying that they're expendable, but it's just saying that they have a lot of people, and strength comes in numbers, and they know that. Between the Army and their school and their funding, they're one of the most funding just because they have so many people. A lot of people like to go into the Army just because it just seems like not necessarily a getaway, but a lot of teenagers like doing that just a way to get out. And after they come out, men, whenever they come out and realize the reason why they went in, it just made them a better person. The last one I want to talk about is Coast Guard and the Reserve. Those two are combined, and those are the people that protect us at home. Whether their jobs range from cook to a plumber, from a pilot to a footman. They're your neighbors. They're the people that are in your society. They're your firemen, as I know one that's fireman. They're your basketball trainer, as I had one that was a basketball trainer. They're just the public people that you know that dedicated their lives just a small part to train, and then after that, on top of that, when they're called, they're ready. My conclusion for this speech is that without these men and women that protect your country, we would have to wake up every morning and wonder what's going on. But with all 5 of these branches, we don't have to worry about that. My sources are Neil Overstreet. He was my basketball trainer. We went through 2 years of just training. He was an Army recruiter, and we did all the training with him. My grandfather was in the Army as well. He was over in Germany during the World War II through post era, and he learned a lot, and he's a very respectable old gentleman just because of the training that he's been through. A guy on my fire department, he is in the Reserve, Anthony Martin. He's one of those guys that dedicated a small part just to make our country that much safer. And then where you can get all of this information is just on one website. It's www.usmilitary.com. It'll take you through all 5 branches. It'll take you through all the training and all the requirements. And once you go to that website, they'll pretty much talk you through on what you want to do. And really the decision is, do you want to defend your country?